So here you have regular decaf Tassimo disc that can save you some money. So after you use one of these Tassimo discs, what you can do is do what I did. You take a razor blade and you carefully cut on the inside of that plastic. Cut all the way around until you can remove the top foil. Now, when you want to make your own coffee, you can do that with these refillable Tassimo cartridges. And you can see I've used this before. And just empty it out. Comes out pretty clean. And they come in a box like this. And in the box you get a scoop and you get a brush. Like that. But I rarely use that. Fill up your coffee with your freshly ground stuff that I made. I just ground my own coffee. Line up the holes and make sure that you press firmly and get the silicone lid on, you know, fairly firmly, and it's tight all the way around. Now you take your freshly cut disc like this, and the reason why we use this is because this gives you a bigger cup. These codes here only give you the smallest cup. So if you want bigger cups, just choose your coffee, use it once, and then cut it out. Okay, here's some additional modifications to the hacks I did. I found lining up the foil with the service disc or the coffee refillable cartridge was a little bit awkward. Sometimes the foil piece, because it's so much smaller, would slip out of place and you couldn't close the lid properly on the Tassimo. So what I did, I've cut out this clear plastic from a salad container, and I traced out the service disc, and going to put that over, trace it out with a Sharpie, and line up the holes for the bottom so I can cut out to access the service disc through the clear plastic template. And you can just see I'm going to use the Sharpie to do that. Now, after I've marked it out with the Sharpie and cut it out, I use rubbing alcohol to remove the Sharpie, and then I'll wash it with soap and water. And you can see here I'm tracing out the water access area using the Sharpie for the service disc, and it's not necessary to be that cut it out like that. So what you'll see in my later part of this video, I actually just cut the circles where the water's got to go in and out, and that kept the template more firm in the Tassimo, so it didn't slide around. If you cut it right through like I did originally, it's a little floppy. Okay, so here's our first test using the service disc with the Tetley T foil code, and you just line it up like that, put it in the Tassimo, close the lid, and now you get the proper temperature for tea as opposed to using just the service disc, and plus it gives you the greater volume cup using an actual code from T-Disc. Okay, so that's the end of the brewing of the first tea. And now I'm going to show you what I did with the refillable Tassimo filter. I traced it out with another piece of plastic so that I can make a new one for the coffee. Okay, so here, similar to this previous procedure, I've cut out the plastic and going to trace out the inlet holes, and with a Sharpie, then I'll clean it with rubbing alcohol, wash it with soap and water, and then line it up with another T-disc code. Okay, just like before, you want to line up the holes and do a little bit of trimming to make sure everything's good before you start to take the foil disc. And here I am using the Tim Hortons one decaffeinated, and you can see I still have pretty much the whole foil, but I'm trimming it out now to make it easier. It really doesn't need to be cut too finely. It just needs enough gap to go around the two holes in the cover, as you can see. And I'm just sort of lining it up and positioning it, and then I'll use a little adhesive tape to attach it. Okay, so I've got the coffee disc made. Now I'm showing you how I trimmed out the Tetley T1 to fit the service disc, so it's a little easier attached with tape. Okay, time to fill up the rechargeable, refillable coffee holder. Put in the template disc that I made with the plastic. Add the refillable coffee holder, shut it down, and start making a cup of coffee. Okay, just showing you the final cup of coffee brewed. Hope you liked the video and the hack. Let me know in the comments. Thanks.